Now I become dead, the destroyer of the world. A man quoted this sentence after the detonation of the world's first atomic bomb. A person whom some called insane, others mad, and yet others a profound genius. Robert Oppenheimer, father of the atomic bomb. The great Christopher Nolan, who is making a movie based on his biography, presents Oppenheimer as a fascinating, intense experience. When discussing Oppenheimer, the first thing that comes to mind is that Manhattan Project. The project started right amid World War II's chaos. Amidst all the turmoil, it was during this very dire situation that the rumor spread like wildfire that Hitler would develop an atomic bomb. Following this rumor, many European scientists fled to Germany while the depths of concern in America were deepening even further. If Germany were to develop an atomic bomb and deploy it, then it is certain that the war would escalate. That much is certain. Amidst turmoil, America hastily initiated the top secret project of its history, the Manhattan Project, with the assistance of its military forces. Suddenly, scientists and their families were relocated to the deserts of New Mexico, where a laboratory named Project Y was established. The government conveyed the urgency of developing the atomic bomb as quickly as possible. Thus began a concerted effort, and under the leadership of a brilliant scientist named Oppenheimer, the director of the Los Alamos laboratory at that time, expertise and leadership were paramount. Despite being referred to affectionately as OP, he had no experience working in any lab. Beyond that, Oppenheimer's fragile health, abrasive demeanor, and bouts of illness raised doubts about his suitability. Nevertheless, with Oppenheimer eventually becoming the head of the top secret army project, the US Army's chief engineer and the director of Project Manhattan, Major General Leslie Groves, maintained faith in him. Oppenheimer's personal declash with scientists and the military was another significant reason for dissatisfaction. When it came to staffing the Manhattan Project, the laboratory was hastily set up in the deserts of New Mexico, and within a short time the bustling operation was in full swing. Within 6 days of work weeks, the evenings were spent reveling, and weekends were filled with raucous parties. Everyone here was daily handling a crucial ingredient for making an atomic bomb: 14 pounds of plutonium. And this task of producing plutonium was the riskiest of all. Although the required amount of material for making an atomic bomb was not available to the Allies, the US Army was not ready to accept defeat. Uranium was converted into plutonium, and eventually nuclear bombs were made. A few days after the completion of the atomic bomb, a party were organized by Director Lieutenant General Leslie Groves. He surprised the scientists by announcing that the bomb would be used against Japan, despite Japan not possessing atomic weapons. When asked why the bomb would be used against Japan, Groves did not provide an answer. However, scientists were deeply dismayed by this decision. Regret set in as they realized that the weapon they had created would now be used to kill millions of innocent people. All the scientists then came together and approached Oppenheimer. Despite Oppenheimer's senior position, the administration did not listen to his words. He only convinced the scientists by saying, "If we make the bomb, we will understand how to use it." Alongside the government's enthusiasm for the atomic bomb, The first nuclear explosion occurred on July 16, 1945, in the New Mexico desert, making a historic moment. The detonation of the atomic bomb was termed the Trinity Test. Days later, the events in Hiroshima and Nagasaki unfolded. We all know how the scientists were horrified by these events, just as horrified as they were by the success of their discovery. When Oppenheimer later met with President Truman, he famously remarked, "Mr. President, as if there is a lot of blood in my hand." Oppenheimer knew the consequences of his discovery would be dire. But surprisingly, at first, he was submerged in the intoxication of success. Being ambitious, he believed his discovery would be immortalize him in history, and people would remember the reasons behind it. That may be why, at the post-atomic bomb press conference on August 6, he appeared composed and enthusiastic. In the victorious tone, he said, "If I could have built the atomic bomb earlier, then I would have dropped it on Germany." However, constructing that bomb was challenging. It took time. With regret, he felt remorse. The American Philosophical Society came forward and expressed their inner pain. They said, "We have created such a thing, such a terrifying weapon that has destroyed the balance of the world. Have we asked ourselves this question? Moreover, is science perfect for humanity?" Oppenheimer, who led the Manhattan Project, though many mocked him, President Rohan scoffed without expressing dissatisfaction and publicly called Oppenheimer a crybaby. After America's nuclear test, there has been much more concern about building atomic bombs. America then decided to take another step forward. They would make a hydrogen bomb, but Oppenheimer expressed skepticism about this decision. He feared that if this bomb was discovered, it would cause nuclear genocide worldwide. Oppenheimer later sought the help of Enrico Fermi and some other trusted scientists to persuade President Roosevelt's former Vice President, Henry Wallach, to hold the administration's project to build a hydrogen bomb. President Truman reluctantly agreed to stop the project to build a hydrogen bomb as quickly as possible. Later, America successfully developed a hydrogen bomb and tested it in 1952. Even 2 years after this event, Oppenheimer was suspected of being a Soviet sympathizer and was removed from his position. Information emerged in 1950 that a Soviet spy named Holtz had infiltrated the laboratory and smuggled out many classified pieces of information. Upon learning of this incident, commissioners of the Atomic Energy Commission held Oppenheimer responsible for the entire matter. Oppenheimer was also accused of opposing the plan to build a hydrogen bomb because he did not want anyone to create a super bomb before Russia. Although Oppenheimer repeatedly denied the friendship with Russia, historical evidence suggests that this power struggle had strained the relationship with the communists. Oppenheimer had a relationship with Jean Tetlock, who was a member of the Communist Party. His association with Tetlock further increased Oppenheimer's popularity with communism. He gradually became involved in the communist activities. Later, Oppenheimer married Catherine Harrison, the wife of a prominent communist labor organizer. Oppenheimer was also accused of having a clandestine relationship with the Soviet Union. Similar allegations were made against Oppenheimer that he, with the assistance of the other scientists, smuggled classified information from Project Manhattan to Soviet scientists. In November 1953, a series of allegations were brought against Oppenheimer, leading to an investigation. The investigation was based favoring the prosecution rather than a neutral inquiry. Throughout this order, Oppenheimer faced attacks, insults, and humiliation, which took a toll on him mentally. Accepting all allegations, everything will be taken. Perhaps there is hope that the torch will be extinguished over him this time. The American administration wanted to punish Oppenheimer to set an example. Oppenheimer was a sharp intellect since childhood, but also a restless person interested in philosophy, religion, and politics. In 1945, during the Trinity test, he was reciting poems by Shelley. This dualistic existence has blocked his entire life. From the joy of extraordinary intelligence to the humiliation of false accusations. From the remorse of creating deadly weapons to the grief of human deaths. What do you think? Was Oppenheimer a ghost or a superhero?